Hey you, come on, sit
Whoa.
down. You're sitting at the grown-ups table. I'm your host, Jesse Pimpinella, and as always, my partner in crime.
John
Thank
Jacobs.
you so much. And we got our good friend Darth. What's us for the show? What's up, Darth? How you doing?
I actually got to be in the opening
You
scene here.
do, yeah.
I'm not
You're
like brought in. I
You're a
guess I'm
friend of
not a special guest anymore. I'm just like Darth.
This is the grown-ups table. You know,
Change it
it's
up.
becoming a table where everybody hangs out. It's kind of like the Central Perk and Friends, but much funnier, and we have much interesting conversations. You know, you never know who's going to be there, but when they're there, it's going to be a good show. So, anyway, speaking of good shows, like I said, we have a lot of cool things we're going to talk about today. We are going to be talking about Fantastic Four, the first step. First step. I was like, there has to be multiple steps with this, but yes, we're going to be talking about that. And we're going to be very spoilerific. So, warning: if you haven't seen this movie, this may not be the show you need to be watching right now. So, go out, go see it. Yeah, this is a spoiler alert show. All right, where I'm not going to be on. I'm going to be honest with you. We're going to talk about it. There's a lot to talk about this. We're going to talk about the aesthetics, the characters, the chemistry, the storyline, the plot, how it sets up in the MCU, how it fits into the MCU, and most importantly, is this not a great entry into the MCU? Now, real quick before we start, I want to make sure you all are liking and commenting. This is the grown-ups table. That means you sit down with us and you could talk with us. So comment wherever you are. If you want us to talk about a certain aspect of this film, throw it our way. We love to talk about that stuff. We'd love to hear your opinions. So let's get right down to it. So, Fantastic Four came out. What are your guys' initial responses from the movie? Like when you guys were coming out of the theater, how'd you feel about this film?
Darth, you want to start? I'm sharing the show and stuff.
I enjoyed it for what it was. It was another Marvel movie.
Yes.
There were a lot of factors of this movie that I enjoyed. And of course, there's always, stuff that I did not enjoy. But overall, it was a very enjoyable Marvel movie.
Yeah.
And Jesse, I know in the last couple of weeks, have talked about how there's a Marvel fatigue.
Yes. We were talking about at first I was calling it comic book fatigue, but you were the first one to kind of elaborate, saying you think it's more of a Marvel fatigue.
I agree with that,
and I feel that John is probably going to echo some of that sentiments and what you're going to say. So, John, give us your thoughts about this movie.
Well, first, let me echo that. I agree that I don't think it is a superhero fatigue. I think it's a Marvel fatigue at this point. And I think that there was some DC fatigue towards the end. I think this stuff is very centralized around the franchises, and just like the popularity of the comics, like 70s and 80s it was DC, and then 90s and 2000s Marvel crept up, and then now we have MCU, but then DC's coming back, so it's like a balloon. It's inflating and contracting constantly between Marvel and DC. So
now let me ask you this question, and maybe this
okay.
No. Just to start to add to what you were saying, because Darth and I had this talk last week, and I wish you were there so I could ask this question.
Sorry about that. I had a work thing.
So no, you're okay. Along with this fatigue and stuff like that, do you feel that this fatigue is because of a lot of there's a kind of a formulaic, hollow approach to making these movies now versus how when Marvel started off, there was a lot of difference in each film. Like Guardians was a space opera. Ant-Man was a heist film. Captain America, the first one was a war movie. The second one's an espionage film. There was these difference in genres. But now I feel, and I'm not sure if maybe this echoes what you're saying, John, is that it feels like everything feels the same.
Well, keep in mind, though, Fantastic Four is the movie about family.
So,
before we go any further, I just want to show off my favorite koozie of all time. It's messing with my background. There we go. Stay thirsty, my friend.
Stay thirsty. Yeah.
Now, I had to have a beer for this conversation. So
yeah.
Question again. I'm sorry. I totally got us off track.
No, it's okay. We got Brian joining us. Brian, what's up?
Brian, it's been a while, man. Brian's
talking
been helping
about
his dad repair a deck at the lake house, man. It's been pretty intense, but they're almost done now. They've done good work.
And then we got Mike with us. Mike, nice to see you. Nice to see
Mike
you.
is Darth's #1 fan. He always will be.
Mike loves me.
All right. Anyways,
what
was the question you asked me again?
So here's what the movie's about so far. So this movie is kind of the third movie.
Pause. You asked me a question that I didn't answer. What was that question?
Oh, okay, get into it.
No.
Oh, the question
I need you to repeat the question. I forgot.
Do you feel that comic book movies nowadays are becoming very formulaic to the point where they're very unoriginal in that
Marvel
sense?
movies. So let's not say comic book movies. Marvel movies.
Darth's right. You have to put qualifiers on it. I think as a whole there is a degree of formulaicness to it. I agree that Marvel seems to be demonstrating this rinse and repeat. We talked about how great Superman was. I realize a lot of people didn't like it, but a ton of people did. I think that's working. I liked that approach. I don't see that type of strategy in terms of like framework and construction of the films in Marvel films, and I really felt like Fantastic Four was gonna be that film. I mean, we all talked about it. We were all hyped. I mean, I was really excited, and it just ended up being the same shit another day. And I'm like, you really wasted this opportunity, especially after the Fox films, which I don't hate. I don't hate
the Fox films.
But everybody was like, we want the real Fantastic Four. We want it. So finally, like 20 fucking years later, we get it, and it should have been epic. It should have been like, they're home. This is where they belong. And pow, we're going to give it to you. And what we got was the same shit another day. And that kind of bummed me out from the very beginning. I was just like,
Yeah, no, that's what it was. It didn't feel like this was fantastic. It didn't feel like it was this big
Fantastic Four were not very fantastic in this
the movie. Fantastic Four carry the same energy as the Avengers. Like that's the level of team that they are. And agreed. I didn't feel I think I didn't feel that level. I mean, granted, this is the first movie, and this is also the third movie in recent history with comic books, or I should say the fourth, where we're skimming over the origin story. The first one to really do it was Spider-Man. The next one was Batman, Superman, and now this. Like, we're trying, because nowadays, I get it. Superheroes are now more of a common knowledge than they were 10 years ago, 20 years ago, where you had to explain Batman parents died in an alley. You had to explain that Superman was from Krypton. But now, with the way pop culture is, these are very, very, very normal things to know, like who was the first president, Washington, who's the hero of the Central City, the Flash. It's just kind of this easy knowledge you have now. But now going through this, do you think that worked?
Real quick, I want to give a shout out to Wild Charles. He's watching on our YouTube feed. Definitely follow Wild Charles. The man travels the entire globe educating us about wildlife, animals, nature, preservation, living together. Check him out if you guys haven't. Close, near, dear friend of mine, and I'm very happy that he's watching the show today. Anyways,
I've worked with him before. Well, we've worked with him before,
yeah.
John.
Now, going back to my question, do you guys feel that the no origin or the quick, fast version of the origin, do you feel that it worked here? Like, we didn't have to spend an expositional amount of 20 minutes into it.
Yeah. So I'm going to say something, and I want Darth to talk because I know he's got a lot to say. I'm mostly for skipping origins at this point. I have special exceptions. Number one is Superman, because I always like to see what the creative team comes up with their rendition of Krypton. I'm really bummed that we didn't get that in James Gunn. I'm okay with it. I'm all right with it, but I wish we got it. So mostly, though, I'm fine with skipping origins, but I'm not going to lie. I think for the way that they did this film, they should have had the origin story, because we would have been able to develop some caring about characters, getting to know them more, being able to adjust to the actors that are playing them. I feel like by skipping the origin, at least for me personally, I missed all of that connecting. So dropping into this already in motion, fine. I know the characters. I understand the characters. but I just didn't care. Like from the very beginning, I'm just like, anything, it just because I don't think the casting was very good, and I know I'm going to get eviscerated for that, but I didn't like the casting. And because I didn't like the casting, I didn't connect with the characters. And I feel like I didn't connect with the characters because I didn't like the casting. But I also feel like that this should have had an origin. So, Darth, I'm going to let you talk for a while. I know you got something to say.
No. I have a whole bunch of things to talk about here because Jess, I want to touch on something Jesse said, but I want to touch on what John said first. No, this really didn't need a full blown 20-minute exposition on their origin story. This is the fourth Fantastic Four movie in 20 years.
Well, third, but yeah, fourth.
Yes.
Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer, and then Fan4Stick. This is the fourth one.
I wrote Fan4Stick out of my mind, so I'm sorry.
Doesn't matter. It still exists. This is the fourth time.
It still exists, yes.
Are we going to count Roger Corman's? Let's count his.
Well, that's what I thought he was counting, and since it was unreleased, that's why I said that.
No,
Dude,
that one also. I'm going back into just the 21st century.
Yeah.
That was in the 90s or 80s, which is a great movie. I have it on VH or DVD. It's great. But this is the fourth time we've been introduced to these characters. No, we don't need a huge exposition. They did touch on some of the origin stuff in flashbacks and in the TV show, and they had a little here, a little there. So you really did, if you are brand new to the franchise, you got a little bit of the origin story. But Marvel is banking on you've seen something with the Fantastic Four before.
Yeah.
Most people have. The comic books are so ingrained in pop culture right now, and Marvel's so ingrained in pop culture, most people will have known or done a little bit of research beforehand, knowing what's going on.
Sure. Yeah. Now, let me ask you this question, and maybe this might marry the two things where you guys are maybe at odds at here. Do you feel that the chemistry in the actors was good? Do you feel like the chemistry within the actors were strong, like between Johnny and Reed, Ben and Sue? Do you feel like it was there, or do you feel like for me, at least when I was watching it, I felt like, and maybe this might be a sin, I felt like it was in the shadow of the Fox movies when it came to that. Because like they're supposed to be Marvel's first family. And at times I didn't feel that family energy. And maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just
I felt the family bond between Johnny and Reed, which I thought was really just odd. Just the fact that like Johnny's like, you're gonna be a horrible father and blah blah blah. And yada, yada. I thought that was great. The relationship between Sue and Reed was okay. Reed was very just,
but on the red carpet was fantastic.
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah.
I got anxious. He's like, I gotta touch your face.
You're right.
The relationship between Ben and Johnny was great. I did not get any kind of brotherly or sisterly connection between the Storms.
Nope.
It just didn't. It just fell flat.
And I think that's what John was getting at, where he would have liked the origin story, maybe not to show the origin, but to have that, to see those little interconnections with the family. Yeah. And maybe that is what was, for me at least, that's what I felt was missing. I want to see those little things where they kind of annoy each other. Because like, here's the thing, the difference with this team for the Fantastic Four is the advantage the Avengers have is they got to break up. You know what I mean? Like they got to say, you know what? I'm not talking to you for a couple years. But this, it's like they're married. That's a brother-in-law. Ben was the best man. You know what I mean? It's like they're so interwoven with each other that I guess I wanted to feel that cursed feeling, like you felt in the Fox movies, where they were, for better or worse, they're stuck
with each other.
You're stuck with each other.
Now, Jesse, I wanted to touch base with this maybe a little bit later, but I'm going to mention it now.
Do it.
You mentioned, you see the Fantastic Four on the level of the Avengers.
Yes.
And, they're supposed to be that big and everything. But the one thing that I've come across, and after watching all 5 of the Fantastic Four movies, because, again, I do have the 80s version of it, and it's like I said, wonderful.
I think it was like
They
94, Darth. What are you talking
they can't do a Fantastic Four movie justice because they are a family first, then they are scientists, then they are adventurers, then they are superheroes. So superheroes is the last thing. You're going into a Fantastic Four movie wanting a superhero movie. And that is not what the Fantastic Four is. The Fantastic Four is a family first.
And that's what I was thinking. We were talking about that fatigue, how like maybe if they had gone in the direction of this is not a superhero movie. This is a dysfunctional family movie that, for better or worse, are now superheroes.
Yes. If if you would have just done something with just in that kind of genre of a family movie, and all of a sudden, here's Galactus. But
exactly.
I honestly don't think if they weren't trying to merge everything with Doomsday and make the next movie so much more, if they would have just started out introducing the characters, doing the Mole Man as the villain, doing a smaller,
I would like that actually.
Smaller villain, and because there's a relationship between the Mole Man and Sue, which would have been perfect to expand on.
Yeah.
And would have been great as its own standalone movie is, it's a family, they're getting together, they're learning their powers, blah, blah, blah. Here's the Mole Man. You have them terrorized just a little bit, and then it resolves. And that's the end of the first movie. Then you can do Galactus and Doom, the second or third movie of a trilogy. That would have been great.
Now, here's the thing that I wanted to talk about with this movie. I love the 1960s timeline.
That's the best part of the movie is the way it looked.
Now here's the question I'm going to ask, and maybe this might be controversial. Do you feel like it stood on its? Do you feel like it actually added to the movie, as in
yes,
or did you feel like it was all the movie had going for it at times?
No, it definitely had more going for it, but I think that the 60s future, nostalgia type look to that, I think that was integral to the film. I think that even because we knew this was never going to be set in the Prime Universe in the MCU, so
no, of course, yes,
we always knew this was going to be in an alternate universe. I think that if they had done it just like an alternate universe, but just kind of looked like ours, right, it wouldn't have had the effect. I think the 60s kind of tech motif really added to that because it added those elements like the talk shows, right, and like addressing the public and like certain technologies that they had, right, like the way that everything looked and felt, the buildings, right, even their outfits that they wore and stuff, like they weren't special superhero suits. They were just wearing those like British military sweaters and pants, like it wasn't even like it wasn't like armor or Stark developed technology or anything. They were just fucking wearing regular clothes that matched,
Yeah. Like at one point, I think he was wearing
I think without that, I think that's what made the movie so interesting. If you didn't have that, I don't think there would have been much redeeming from this movie if they didn't have that. It just would have fell flat. Like it just would have blended into the background of there's nothing special here. Why am I watching this?
This movie was also a huge nod to Jack Kirby and Stan Lee.
Sure.
So,
they even had a quote unquote cameo of the two together.
They did.
Guys spot that? Yeah. It was the scene where, for those who don't know, when Silver Surfer shows up, there's two comic book writers that look out the window. And
it's Timely Comics.
Yep, it's Stan Lee Comics, and that's Jack Kirby.
Okay. I missed that. All right.
Yeah, it was like a missing you blanket moment. It was really cool. But yeah, this movie, one of the things I did love about it was a love letter to Jack Kirby, who has been very unsung up until this point in film. Yeah, I mean, you see his name crediting his creations and stuff like that, but you don't really hear people talk about his contribution. He's kind of, so to speak, the Bill Finger of this all. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to make it sound like he was cut out of all of it, but as somebody who made side by side with Stan Lee these characters, he's not really brought up much, and it's kind of a bummer. So it was really cool that they really went out of their way to really say, "Hey guys, Jack Kirby, remember him."
Yeah, I mean, they even put it in with the even on our screen here, Earth 828, which
August
is
28th.
a nod to his birthday.
Yep. No, I thought that was I thought that was a very fantastic thing that they did. I thought that was really cool. And you're right, John, with the 1960s thing, they needed to do something to really differentiate, because at first, like, I understand that they wanted to make this take place in another universe, because to have them already exist in our universe, or the MCU universe, would be
sense.
bad, because then you would have to explain why they weren't there for Thanos. Now, here's my question I would ask.
Oh, they were just on a rocket ship somewhere. Boom, there's your explanation.
Yeah. I was wondering if, but it's like, sometimes I'm like, I wonder if they could have just had them become the Fantastic Four, quote unquote, this year, and with a year being the Fantastic Four, their powers are still studying them. Then the Mole Man comes, and then everything comes together that way.
No, because then you're going to have a whole lot of where's the rest of the Avengers? Where's Stark? Where's Spider-Man? Where's all these people? They needed to keep this separate from everybody else.
Okay. No. I just wanted to throw that out there. Yeah, because I do get that. I do get that. This was a tough. I mean, now what's going to be very interesting is seeing how they're going to assimilate all these A characters into this universe. But also, this is the first movie of Phase 6. So this movie also carried kind of a little bit of a heavier burden than most movies, in the fact that it's kind of setting up. Not setting up, but it's like, this is the movie that's going to say, okay, we're going to be going into another Avengers movie, which we haven't done that since 2018. So this is like the first time we've seen setup movies to go. I mean, yes, Thunderbolts, I get that, but I mean, like, to knowingly go into something like this is going to be very interesting. I'd like to see where they're going to go with it, how they're going to bring Doomsday in, how they're going to bring everybody together. It has a lot. This movie has a lot of heavy carrying it has to do to set up. So how do you guys feel about it being a setup film and fitting into the future of the MCU?
Well, that's the problem. You debuted the Fantastic Four. Again, it should have been fantastic, but it wasn't fantastic because it was just a filler setup film. And I think that's part of the problem. If you let the Fantastic Four be fantastic without worrying about setting shit up, it would have been a lot better. Just inherently, it would have been better.
I think adding the extra scene.
End. Sorry, Darth.
I cut you off. I think adding the extra scene at the end of the Thunderbolts showing the Fantastic Four, or the Fantastic Four's rocket ship, ruins the movie.
Yes, I totally agree. 100%.
I agree.
Yes.
I agree.
Because now, the whole time I'm watching the movie, I'm like, okay, so how do we get
how's
from
it gonna
star drive technology to universe hopping technology? That's the only thing I'm thinking. How are they going to get there? How are they going to get there? And it just
also, now, problem you have with phases like 5 and 6, or 4, 5, and 6, and whatever phase we're in now, is we're all leading into the next movie. Yeah. We're going, okay, this is going to be a good movie, but what's going to happen next? Or what's going to happen 4 movies from now? How are we going to get from here to Doomsday?
Yeah.
When I'm watching Captain America: The Winter Soldier, I'm not thinking, how is Winter Soldier going to lead me to Endgame?
Yes, exactly.
There we go.
So
they worry about every movie one phase at a time, one movie at a time. They're not trying to set up. Yes, Darth, thank you.
Now, at the end of the movies, in the post-credit scene, they usually lead into the next movie, or they do something with Thanos lurking in the background, or doing something like that. They haven't really done that since the end of Endgame. I mean, most of the post-credit scenes are lame. It's been lame lately.
I haven't seen
It was lame in Fantastic Four. You had a faceless seeing the back of Doctor Doom, and then you had a meta cartoon. That was it.
Yeah.
No, I enjoyed the meta cartoon very much because I got the joke behind it. But I was
Yeah.
just like, really? That's all we got? Okay.
Yeah, I think it was. I think what it was is like if they would have anchored the Fantastic Four movie as in like this is their new end game that they're going to go up against, and they're going to need our MCU heroes to help
Yeah.
them.
Give us some
I think
stakes.
that would have felt more fantastic because then you would have been like, oh my god, they're bringing people into the 1960 universe. Like they're you know, I mean, like it would have carried this weight like the Fantastic Four was leading it. But now I'm hearing reports in the for Doomsday that Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic is no longer a lead. Like he's no longer the big cheese up front, which is interesting to wonder how his scene's being cut. How does that going to affect the story? Does that make
Can we
the
recast
Fantastic
him?
what?
Can we recast him?
Can we miraculously have him shapeshift into John Krasinski?
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, I would take that. To be honest,
I
like
would
I just
would
wasn't seeing Pedro as
he
Mr.
would
Fantastic. It was
just have him do Stepfather Part 3.
oh,
Stepfather,
dude, there you go.
where
There
he
you go.
just where they explain the recasting is I got plastic surgery.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
take
yeah.
it.
The old Michael Knight. I
That's
just
it.
got
I got
plastic
that.
surgery. I'm a different guy now.
That's it. But yeah, so I mean, here we got a couple other comments. My beautiful wife, she expressed her hold on, that's just her telling me I my dogs are annoying her. The original Fantastic movie, she felt she liked them more.
Now, which original Fantastic Four movie is she talking
She means the Fox ones. I can tell you that right now.
I
The
don't
Jessica
Disney
Alba
either
movie?
guilty pleasures for me, so
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, is it cheesy? Is it schlocky? Yes. But I mean, here's the one thing I do like about the original, those
the
Fantastic Four
characters
movies.
were at least better, and I liked watching
The
them on screen together.
But you got to see Mr. Fantastic actually do some fantastic shit
Yes.
with his powers.
Yes.
Like at one point, Galactus was stretching him, and he's like, ah! And
But
I'm
it was like this much. Like,
I'm like,
I just
isn't that your
wanted to
power?
flick him.
That's your power.
but that
It's
was
like-
like, and that was the peak of showing his power. He didn't stretch beyond that the whole fucking movie. The whole time I'm waiting, I'm like, dude, do something.
It's like if you douse
no.
Johnny with flames and he
Just
dies.
Oh my god.
Now, going back to that, there's
And I'm
Only
being
so-
facetious.
so much stretching you can do. And yeah, John said, yeah, he went like that far, but that far to Galactus is like 30 feet.
No, but the scale, Galactus was only on a skyscraper scale, which also, whenever we get into Galactus, I've got gripes about that, but he wasn't like that big. Like the way he was stretching Reed has stretched a lot further.
He's not a
They
celestial.
also even told you how far he is stretched in the movie when they did the flashback on the TV show, and they're like, oh, he can go up to like 1,500 yards or whatever the number was. I forget the number. There was a finite number that was provided, and I do not believe that that number exceeded what Galactus was stretching him as. That annoyed me.
Now, are we talking like all of him stretching or just part of him stretching? Like he can
No,
stretch his finger out?
it was on like one of the news clips, or it was like a clip from one of the talk shows or something, and they were like, well, we did this experiment with Mr. Fantastic, and so far this is number as far as he can stretch. Like there was a finite number provided, and I do not believe that Galactus was stretching him beyond what that finite number was already established as. So that annoyed me. It's a little continuity stuff like that. Like if you're not even going to have Mr. Fantastic do stretchy stuff, then don't be the one time who does stretchy stuff. Be one that nobody gives a shit
Could
about.
you not say
He's not going to
stretchy?
die. Galactus is
Don't
going
say
to kill him. It's his
stretchy.
movie. So he's
John, for
fine.
me-
He's
for
not going
me-
to die. There was no threat level to his life by being stretched whatsoever. I'm like, this is where you show us his stuff on something
me-
that is irrelevant and does not matter.
Could you not say stretchy things again like that? It just sounded so filthy. Like, oh, Mr. Fantastic's gonna do some stretchy things.
Do some stretchy things.
I'm like, oh, that sounds like only fantastic
It's
page.
just like, what the fuck were they thinking? And
I
you know-
don't remember seeing that.
yeah,
That
hold
part,
on. Let me
no.
see if I can find it, Darth.
See if you can find it.
It was like a see it and you miss it type thing. But yeah, it was like a specific thing where they were saying, you know, and again, I'm paraphrasing, I'm not quoting, but it was something like, we've tested this, and so far, like, this is as far as he can stretch, and there was like a finite number provided. Let me see if I can
now
find this.
let me do a devil's advocate for it, because I made the joke, so let me devil advocate it. We did allow Superman to become a weaker character so he could be more relatable to an audience.
If John is
hold on.
Stop before we go any further.
All right.
Now, what Jesse is saying is, over the span of different movies and different universes,
yes,
Superman has gone this way. What John's saying is, Mr. Fantastic in this movie said he can stretch so far.
Yes.
Now, so in this one, he's saying he can only, Galactus stretched him this far, and that was too much for him.
So what I'm trying to say is it unfair of me to compare?
Pause. Everybody stop.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, in the film, and I'm trying to look it up, there was a part where somebody disclosed a number saying, so far, this is what we know Mr. Fantastic can stretch to. It was not a humongous number, but it wasn't a small number either. I'm trying to find it. But what I'm saying is visually with what we saw, with the scale of Galactus being about the size of a skyscraper and the amount he was stretching Reed, it did not appear that stretch was bettering the finite number provided, which was already too small to begin with. And that's my whole point, is that we don't get Mr. Fantastic doing Mr. Fantastic things. And then when we finally see it, it's either weak or stupid, like this galactic thing. Like, and they did it with all fucking four of them. All four of them. I'm just like, what the hell?
Now, when you say all four of them, are you talking about all four incarnations of Mr. Fantastic, or all four of them as in like the four characters in this movie?
The four characters. I felt like nobody shined their powers. Now, with that said, I will put an exception to that with Sue Storm, because it was pretty badass that she was able to push Galactus into the field. That was fucking awesome, because that took fucking power. I thought that was cool, and I absolutely loved making her stomach transparent and being able to see the baby. That to me, like, that was one of the highlights of the film, and it was like a 45-second shot, if that.
Okay, so
that was fantastic. Those two things were fantastic. That's about it for the powers. I can't even tell you what Johnny did.
I disagree.
Listening to records, I can't tell you what the Thing did, other than I couldn't stop looking at the mushroom head. And I know that it's comic accurate, but it bothered me the whole time. And I can't tell you what Reed did, because all he did was tinker with shit he already built before the movie started. So it's just like, okay, like, again, they didn't do fantastic things in the Fantastic Four.
I disagree.
Okay.
Johnny, again, raced Silver Surfer. Did the same thing that...
We haven't even started to talk about that worthless character, but I'm sure we'll get there.
Well, we will. And I also will disagree with you on it, too. So Johnny raced. He was on fire in space, which was kind of stupid, but also kind of cool. Was very fast, was very, did stuff. He did catch Ben also when Galactus threw him into space.
Yeah, all right, okay, I'll give you that one.
Invisible Woman is known as the most powerful of them all, so
sure.
That was not a big surprise for me when she was able to push Galactus into the portal, whatever. That was cool.
It, yeah. It was.
The Thing. His superpower is he's strong.
But he didn't do anything that I can even remember that was memorable.
He helped knock down a skyscraper.
Okay, cool.
He got thrown into Galactus. He threw a crane at Galactus.
Okay, I mean,
he did cool, powerful things. He grew a rock beard, which was beautiful.
That was the best part of the character.
That was a good beard.
We can't afford to power the standard, so you grow a beard. Okay, awesome. That was actually cool.
I will say Mr. Fantastic his powers are the weakest of them all, but it's not it's his intellect that's his superpower.
Yeah, but
he stretches, but also you can't make stretchy powers look cool in real life.
You can. You absolutely can.
No, you can't.
I felt like the Fox one did it pretty well.
It was the Fox ones were ridiculous.
But they leaned into it, and I liked it.
Like, I wanted to see Mr. Fantastic do that thing where he folds over himself and walks like a playing card with legs. Like, do that shit. Like, it's Fantastic Four.
But
You're
this was a
Mr.
more
Fantastic.
serious. This was a more serious Reed Richards. He didn't.
I mean,
need
I
to
get
do
that, but do.
I would have liked to have
something
seen
fantastic.
him working on his chalkboard and stretching and doing stuff like that more than
There
anything
you go.
else.
I
But
would have taken that. No, okay, I got a number here that we can work with. These are just numbers, and they're not 100% accurate, but there's some data behind it. Okay, so let's talk early comics when Jack Kirby was writing the comics, right? Early comics show that he gets up to at least 24.5 kilometers before experiencing discomfort. So what's 24.5 kilometers? So let's look that up real quickly, because then we could be like, okay, he's still stretching, he's in pain, and that
It's 15 miles.
yeah. So, but here's the thing. We're talking comic books. We're talking about the scene in this movie that gave us a number.
I'm trying to find it, but
I know you are, John.
Like a
But
needle
I'm
in a
just-
haystack.
Okay, the other thing was 1,500 feet. He can stretch beyond 1,500 feet in other comics.
I think that's what they said in the movie. Like, that's sticking out of my mind that they said 1,500 in the movie.
1,500 is the more accepted number. The 457 meters before he feels discomfort. That's the overall number.
Like the 1,500 sounds about right.
Here's the question.
But that's the equivalent of 5 football fields, isn't that?
Is he just stretching an arm to do that, or is he stretching his whole body to do that?
So in the movie, when they were talking about it, it was his arm. Like, he just kept stretching his arm as far as he could, and they were like, "This is as far as he can go right now."
Okay, so that's just stretching that. This is every molecule in his body being stretched all at the same time.
I mean, it might have a
stretching his
factor
arm
to it, but not
further
much.
away.
I mean, like, now, do you feel that putting your whole body into it would be more easier than just simply stretching your arm?
No, it would be worse. It would be more taxing on the molecules in the body.
Yeah. No, I'm asking. These are just questions. Yeah. No, that makes sense.
This is a very stupid conversation we're having. There's more bad things about this movie we could be talking about.
All right, then let's talk about them. Let's do it. All right, so I will let you take us in the next direction. Is there something you want to talk about specifically, Darth?
How what Galactus and Silver Surfer wasted. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Darth.
Oh no, we can talk about that. And we can talk about the Silver Surfer.
Okay.
How I do agree. I would have liked to have had at least 2 more scenes with her.
There we go. Something, right? Like,
yeah, just how out of the blue she helped the Fantastic Four because Johnny played her, or Johnny was able to talk to her in her own language.
Right. Which, don't get me started on those fucking records, man. God damn.
My thing is, it's a Martha moment.
It is the Martha moment, dude. You're right.
I'm gonna say this.
Oh my god.
Real quickly. Hold on. I gotta say something. It's not a Martha moment. It's not. Yeah, I will even stand up for the Martha moment.
It is a Martha moment.
I will stand up for the Martha moment, but I don't have time to stand up for it. But I disagree with that.
I don't have time. It's a Martha moment.
I'll say this. This is what I will say. Batman was dehumanized that whole movie, and at one point he saw something he humanized in front of him, and he felt like he was just like this lost kid. Now all of a sudden he's like, "What the fuck am I doing?" But that's beside the point. And
Shalla Ball.
Everybody's can disagree with me. I'm going to die on that hill. Just put flowers next to my grave.
Finally realized that, I made a deal with the devil to save my planet and doomed all these other ones. Now Johnny was pretty much given the same opportunity. I'll save your planet if you give me this kid. And they said no. And
Yeah,
now
but like,
we're
but
having this crisis moment where this is not what Norrin and my kids would have wanted.
but they spent
So,
no time with the characters to make me believe those are the choices that they would make.
yeah, like I said, I wish we
Like,
had
I
like
believe
2 more
Bruce
scenes.
would make that decision when Superman says Martha, because we see this man mourning his parents' death. We open with it. We see it. We see he's bitter. He's angry. He's lost Robin. He's lost everything. We're criminals, Alfred. We're nothing. And then when we get to this moment, I feel that moment pays off.
What are you
With
talking
this
about? We saw her walking in the sand with her kid.
Big deal. Big deal. We
I'm
saw
trying,
one scene.
I'm trying, Jesse. I'm trying.
One scene. I'm sorry. Big deal. I didn't care for her that much. I did feel like maybe if we had a few more scenes, as you guys mentioned, maybe I would get there. But like when she randomly comes out of nowhere and goes, "This is for you guys," I'm like, "Who the fuck are you?"
Look.
Like, good for you. I think honestly, that movie would have blown me away if Johnny had gone into there. If Johnny had gone into there, sacrificed himself, and then that's the reason why the Fantastic Four are looking through all the universes to find Johnny, and they end up in our Marvel universe.
That sounds pretty damn good, man. That sounds good to me.
They kind of did that with Annihilus, where Annihilus was in the comics. Annihilus brought a huge army from the Negative Zone, and they were going to come in and they were going to overrun the Earth. And Johnny sacrificed himself, flew in, at Nova, and the door closed behind him, and there was Ben Grimm just crying because,
if they had ended the movie like that, I think that would have been I think that would have gave the movie stake. That would have gave the movie some sort of like, oh shit, okay, yeah, this is dangerous. Yeah, I mean, even if we know that Johnny's going to come back, even though we know because they already announced all the chairs at the Doomsday thing, it still would have been a tear shed moment, because even if we know he survived, he's on the other side of the door with Galactus for God knows how long, and whoever is with them. It would have been a very
Fantastic Four 2 or Fantastic 8, depending on how you do the math.
Powers.
He could be the next Herald of Galactus. And they have with Shia LaBeouf being stuck on Earth, taking the role of Johnny Storm, and now she has to basically try to deprogram Johnny Storm.
What if Johnny heralds the death of the MCU?
Stop it. Can we stop doing this what if shit, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Disney Plus already has a what if show. My bad.
I really have something to say here.
What do you have to say, John?
Stop using Silver Surfer, any incarnation. Stop. If your
I agree with that.
If your only use of Silver Surfer is so they can betray Galactus and help the heroes at the end, stop doing it. Because it's a throwaway.
But isn't that pretty much how you have to introduce the Silver Surfer?
I mean, sure, but listen to the words that I'm saying, okay? If you go back and you watch the Fox Silver Surfer, and then you watch this one, the characters do the same fucking thing, almost scene for scene.
They did.
But this time it's female.
Well, and I don't even care about that, because we have.
And this time it's the opposite
Storm. Of Silver Surfer. Do 25 of them. I don't care. Just do something with them. If your only reason of putting this character in a film is just so they can have a MacGuffin at the end to help the heroes, stop doing it. You're wasting everybody's time, and you're wasting this character. Galactus does not need a herald to show up and eat a planet. I understand. There is an established
that's the mythos of the character.
That's what I'm saying. I understand that. But what I'm also saying is you could
don't be privileged because you can eat a plant by yourself.
You could omit that and just have him traveling the universe, and it would be the same effect.
That's like saying the character. That's like saying, we didn't have Uncle Ben say with great power comes great responsibility because it's been done before. That's what ruined Amazing Spider-Man for me.
Okay. Do you need a ring announcer to have a boxing match?
Kind of. That's how it starts.
No. Can I box with you, Darth, without a ring announcer? Can I
the pop and circumstance?
No. Can I perform that task? Could I put on gloves and box you without a ring announcer?
Yes, you can.
There you go. Because that's all that they're
now
using.
here's the thing.
Well,
If I'm paying $80 to watch a boxing match
That's
between you
different.
and me,
You're
I need a fucking ring announcer.
Well, yeah, you're putting qualifiers on it.
Are you saying that you guys
It's
just
part
did?
of the puppet? It's part of the show.
Look, I know that. What I'm saying is that sometimes in adaptations things do change. If they were to just write out the Silver Surfer character, it wouldn't be that big of a deal.
Yes,
is what
it
I'm saying,
would.
because they do nothing with the character already.
You are
just there. Like, do something with the fucking character.
I agree that they have to do something with the character.
All the fanboys out there going, "Where was Silver Surfer? We had Galactus. He needs a herald."
I mean, I get that, but what again?
And the whole premise of the Silver Surfer is to take him to a planet that is uninhabited, so he can eat that planet and stay away from other things, when she can or he can, depending on which Silver Surfer we're talking about.
I don't disagree with you, but what I'm saying is, if you're not going to use the character, then just do it a different way. Because I'm tired of seeing the exact same Silver Surfer 2 movies now. What, are we going to get a third one when Galactus fucking shows back up 7 movies from now or whenever it is? Is he going to have another Surfer? Is he going to have one of the other fucking hundreds of heralds that he's had?
I think
probably.
I think the problem with the character is that his origin is tied so heavily to a main story that it's hard to introduce him without having to do the story itself. It's kind of like that's tough. I mean, I get it. It's like, if you're going to do a Red Hood story and then avoid ever doing a Joker story, that would piss fans off, because it's like, what we want to see that eventually go there. So I think no matter what, you're always going to piss somebody off with it. I agree with John, because on the aspect is there was no substance to the character. But I also agree with Darth saying that the character is pivotal to Galactus, but I think we also would like to see the character be pivotal on its own.
And I agree with what Darth is saying. I'm not saying I don't agree with you, Darth. I understand the character. I understand how they have to go together, to Jesse's point. So I'm not saying that I don't get that. I do. I just think that if you're going to waste it, let's just do something different.
Yeah,
or do a different herald that doesn't have, Silver Surfer's got some fandom baggage. Do one of the fucking heralds they mentioned once and left again. Do one of them. There's been so many, I don't remember all the names, but
Firelord, Terrax.
Do one of those that is maybe lesser known, or that people really don't care about, and then throw that one away, and then wait until you can actually do something with the Surfer. That, I guess, maybe that's a more condensed way of what I'm trying to say.
I think it's hard, because I think when you're making these movies, you're going to prioritize other characters over others.
Sure.
And some characters are just going to get steamrolled. The greatest example is the Incredible Hulk with the MCU universe. And again, a lot of that is because Universal Studios holds the distribution right to the character. But for my brother, who's a diehard fan, that character has been heavily steamrolled since the beginning. But unfortunately, it's to tell a greater story. And I think that's one of the things with the Silver Surfer, because the thing about the Hulk is my brother was like, I hate that they did the origin that they did with the Hulk, because he likes the gamma ray nuclear bomb version. But if you're going to
about the whole conspiracy and all that shit.
But the problem is if you're going to connect everything to Captain America, then you have to do the serum, because that's how it's one of those things where I think at some point each character is going to sacrifice something. The characters that sacrifice the least, they're going to be the character we recognize the most. The characters that sacrifice the most so that other characters can shine, those are going to be the characters we're going to have issues with. And I think that's how it is with.
But they did it 2 movies in a row. They haven't learned the lesson. It's just a gripe that I have. I had the gripe 20 years ago or whenever that movie came out. I still have the gripe after this one.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
that you have. Oh, sorry, John or Jesse, but the problem that you have is these are one and done movies. Correct, we're not going to see Galactus again. We're not going to see.
Well, we are. He's going to pop up again.
I don't think he is.
I think he is.
I think
That's
we're
why
done.
they pushed him into the whole barrier thing so they can bring him back whenever they feel like
No,
it.
I think
Whenever
the
that
universe is
serves
done.
as the plot device, then they'll do it.
If you're looking at everything, Feige's done after 2028 or something like that. He's not going to bring back Galactus.
Galactus should have been the big bad, and the one and done movie should have been with Doom, to be honest. Galactus should be an entire phase villain with arcs and many appearing in many movies and many things happening. And what the fuck? How are we only getting it scaled down to just fucking skyscrapers? Where is the solar system size Galactus? Like what's
that
happening
was
here?
in the second Jessica Alba movie, and everyone hated it.
But it would be because it was so poorly done. It was a fucking rain cloud in space. If you had seen Galactus's head, you know, the popcorn bucket, the size of fucking Earth, being able to palm it like a basketball with his hand, we would have loved it. But you gave us
He's not the size of a
cloud.
Celestial, John. He's not that big.
Yes, he is.
No, he's
What
not.
the fuck? Darth, you're killing me tonight.
Can somebody Google how big he
His
is?
ship is ginormous, and his ship is what usually breaks down everything and eats it up. He's not that fucking big.
Darth, oh my god.
Anyways, we're gonna look up how big Galactus is. But
It's not like he's going to take the Earth and eat it like an apple.
Here we go. His typical depiction. So here we go. His typical depiction is as a large skyscraper-sized being, but he can also be as small as a human or as large as a planet or solar system. What I said was accurate.
Oh, you got me.
I'm sorry, Darth.
Most of the time, he's the size of a skyscraper.
That came across, though. I didn't mean to come across that way. So, oh, nice. Good job, Nigel. Yeah. So all I'm saying is that having, again, it's the fantastic part. Was seeing Galactus done somewhat right good? Yes, especially after the rain cloud in the last movie, right? So we got the popcorn bucket. We got Galactus, we got the ship, and all that was cool. And yeah, he was the size of a skyscraper, you know, that was cool too. He was walking around the city, looked really good, you know, that was cool.
So John,
I
you
wanted
him the size of like palming the Earth. How the hell were they going to beat him?
Well, I don't remember what they did, but there was something that they were able to do to him to shrink him down from that large, like,
so you're gonna need them to create a device.
They were able to shrink him down, and then they pushed him out. Like, I forget which book series that specifically was, but that was how they did it. But it wasn't just the Fantastic Four. They had to get fucking everybody involved in that shit for it to have to happen. It was like an Avengers type event. There was like everybody was involved.
So you're saying they needed a side quest?
Yes. Yes, but this movie had plenty of side quests, but they were boring side quests.
Yeah, it's the Fantastic Four,
which wasn't very fantastic.
No, they're boring characters. They're always going to be boring characters.
They can be fun, Darth. That's my point. They can be.
I love the Fantastic Four. I'm a huge.
I know that you do. And the thing is as much as we're trashing this movie, we still liked it. Like I liked it. I'm glad I saw it in the theater. My wife liked it. My daughter slept through 2/3 of it and just woke up for the third act, but she said that was cool. So I mean, like everybody liked it, but it was so not as good as it should have been that I have fun, like kind of ripping it up a little bit because there really isn't much of an excuse for it to come out this way. No. But then at the same time, we should have all known it was going to come out this way to the points we already made at the beginning of the show.
Can we all agree that Herbie was awesome?
Herbie was great.
Sure.
I just want to make sure.
When Herbie stood in front of the baby when he stood in front of the baby when Galactus was going to try to take him, I loved it.
No.
Listen, no. I'm not saying
the baby, John. He's not talking to the baby. He's talking
about Herbie. Herbie stood in front of the baby like the last defense before Galactus grabbed him.
Dude.
And I was like, Herbie's ride or die.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Herbie's ride or
anytime
die.
Herbie was on screen, I just kept thinking of what was it, Rob the Robot, Rad the
Mhm.
Robot from NES. I just
Yeah.
kept thinking that was Herbie the whole time.
Yeah.
Like I know they don't even look anything alike, but I just kept thinking of Rob the Robot. I'm like,
Dude,
oh, there
he
he is
put
again,
in
saving the day.
that he ate, like he put in his Lone Wolf Baby Cub VHS tape, put it right into here, and then he was like, "I'm gonna fuck Galactus up. You're not taking this baby," and I
I did
loved it.
like how Reed had the different magnetic tapes for the behavior of Herbie.
Mhm.
Like, we need Herbie to be this way. All right, he's good to go.
Space travel Herbie. Here we go. Click.
Yep. Here we go. So, but I guess that would be a node to the positive intellect of Reed Richards, because he's smart enough to have these pre-programmed behavior settings instead of having to do it manually every time. Now he's got it automated, just has to switch tapes. So there you go. There's a positive. Didn't think
Yeah.
about that till just now.
I think for the most part, this was a fun movie. It was a fun throwback movie, and it was kind of like Marvel's attempt at making a movie where it wasn't afraid to be a comic book movie, much like how the Superman movie.
Okay.
Well, like what I mean, I'm not talking about execution here. I'm just talking about like, it leaned into the silliness of a comic book. It leaned into the Jack Kirby of the 1960s. Like it wasn't like, like me and Darth were talking about this last week, like how like Deadpool makes the comment about how Wolverine, it took 20 years to get him in the suit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this, we're at that point now where it's not silly anymore. We're like, no, we know what this is. We don't, because like, I mean, could you go look at it, like in the 2000s, comic books were still like, fringe. They weren't like the cool thing people did. No.
It was,
For us,
the
it was.
2000s were a transitional period.
They were transitional, but my point is,
Darth.
Yeah, no. Oh, look.
It wasn't until Iron Man where comics became.
No, I disagree. First two X-Men.
I would go to Avengers.
No, that's too far.
No, I would. I mean, Batman. Okay, so here I would. Okay.
But I agree. Iron Man ignited even the most shit. Absolutely. 100%.
Okay, so, but bottom line is that like everything had to be a big superhero character. Like it was Spider-Man, this, that, and even like Spider-Man was probably the closest we ever came to something not being afraid to be a comic book. But that's because you had the silliness of Sam Raimi, who was like, "I'm doing it my way. Fuck you guys." But which I love.
By having Toby dance.
But yeah, well, hey, what shit happens. The point is that you saw the X-Men movie. They weren't in their yellow suits and everything. They were in these black flight suits. Everything was practical. The Batman movies, everything was practical. There had to be a reason for this. Everything was grounded, practical, like it could exist in our world. This movie made no attempt to exist in our world. If it just like the Superman movie, these two movies came out and say, "Hey guys, this is a fantasy. This exists over here. You're either on the train or you're off the train."
I'll agree
and I applaud that. I applaud that a lot, because now I think that will help beat superhero fatigue. But I mean, you still gotta have a good story. You can't just be aesthetically pleasing. You gotta have a great story that makes us fall in love with these characters and hope for them, cry for them, fear for them, love for them, whatever it may be. You do that, and you have them. You have the audience. And like I said, I'm very excited to see these new comic book movies that now they're embracing their comic books, and they're not worried about alienating audiences by not being fully in depth with the origin story. They're like, look, this is a comic book. If you should know this by now. A bunch of these movies have already came out.
But I think they could have done it for this one.
Yeah. So, but my point is that we're in a place now where comic book movies are more common knowledge. They aren't on the fringe. They're not movies that only get budgeted $90 million. Now they can be tentpole films.
Mm-hmm.
Like merchandising changed after The Dark Knight came out, because there was always video game tie-ins for every comic book movie. And then when The Dark Knight came out, they were like, don't do that. That's going to cheapen it.
The Batman Begins game was pretty dope.
I love the Batman Begins game.
Out there.
I love that game. I love that game. And there was a Dark Knight video game, but they nixed it because they were like, let's not cheapen it. And that's where things changed. 2008 was a huge year for everything. You had the MCU starting. You had the Dark Knight, which A, won an Oscar for acting, and B, was the first comic book movie to ever hit $1 billion. 2008 was the biggest.
That together.
Yeah, that was the biggest game changer. That was the year Hollywood was like, hold the phone. Comic book movies are there's money, and that's when we start taking it serious.
Darth's just waiting.
Oh no, I'm good.
Yeah,
I agree with what Jesse said, and the fact that once the movie studios realized that half their scripts are already written in comic book form, comic books for a long time have been writing like movie scripts.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like I said, it's all comic books for the most part are storyboards for the actual film, and if you just follow that, I mean, half the job is already completed in writing the script. But like I said, I think what it comes down to is, like I said, I think what they need to do with Marvel, and I've always been saying this, is tell a good phase story. Tell a good phase story.
Yes,
and that's like the first phase was just introducing the characters and having them come together as the Avengers. I mean, that was it. That was it. That was all the goal was. And so, like, if you want to introduce new characters that will become the new Avengers, do that. And then maybe Galactus could have been the phase 1 villain, or maybe Doomsday could have been the phase 1 villain for them. The quote unquote phase 1, you know what I mean? But like, I think that because like phase 4, that was a eulogy for phase 3. Phase 5 was the whole Kang issue where we're going to use Kang, we're not going to use Kang, we might have Avengers, we might not have Avengers. So now this phase is we're going to have Avengers and we're going to have a Thanos, and this is the first movie that sets it all up. So now what comes next is, it's in their court. So as for a setup movie, I let this one go because it's the first movie. I'm glad they didn't do a lot of heavy pulling to set stuff up. But I think this puts a lot of pressure on what was the next movie going to be after Fantastic Four First Steps?
The next movie is Spider-Man.
Well, that's shooting now, though.
Really?
I thought there was something else slated to come out.
Yeah, there's only 4 actual movies in this phase. It's this one, Spider-Man, and the 2 Avengers movies. That's all that's been announced.
Oh yeah, Doomsday and Secret Wars. All Blade as well.
Yeah, Blade's never coming out.
Yeah.
Isn't it shooting now? I thought I read something.
Blade
has
been in 4. Blade was in phase 4, 5, now 6. It's going to be in 7 and 8. But my point is, like, how these movies set up everything is going to be interesting. So maybe if they do a minimalist approach.
It's still in development. It looks like filming's now not going to start till 2026. I'll bet you Darth is right. We're never going to get Blade.
It's never happened.
Here's the funny thing about the Blade movies.
Happen.
We saw all the Blade costumes in a movie already.
Yeah.
Did you hear about that?
No.
You know the movie Sinners?
Mm-hmm.
All those costumes came from the Blade movie.
Oh, jeez.
Because remember, at one point, Blade was going to be a period piece film. And then they nixed it, but they had all the costumes made. So Sinners bought all the costumes.
Oh, God.
So it's like, so far for the new Blade movie, all we have gotten is a movie that used their costumes, and that's it.
It sounds like Cyborg, man. That whole movie was just using everything from the second Masters of the Universe. It never happened. So
Yeah.
they just took it all and made a completely different film. Or like how they sold all the Starship Troopers uniforms to the Power Rangers season, Lost Galaxy.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So, studios got to recoup those investments on props, man.
You got to recoup it, or you got to do it. But bottom line is that, I guess this is my last thought, is that this is the first movie. So, I mean, it did a little bit of setting up. I think the second movie, whatever the second movie is, because again, if Spider-Man comes out in time or not or whatnot, because everything kind of seems a bit fluxy, we're going to see how they set it up. And again, I think the minimalist approach to setting it up is best because what I like about the first phase, and I'm not sure if you guys remember this when we were watching it, weren't you kind of all in disbelief it was going to happen? Because, like, you've watched comic book movies before. Even Batman mentioned Superman and Batman and Robin. You had the Punisher show up at the end of Spider-Man 2. Like, we've all had the hopes of seeing it, but we're like, it ain't gonna happen until Avengers blew our mind.
Wait,
Right.
the Punisher show up at the end of Spider-Man 2?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, there was a weird thing if you Google it. So what happened
What?
was,
Oh yeah, Thomas Jane was in the background.
yeah, it was a weird thing.
But
So
he wasn't playing the Punisher, right?
It was supposed to be a setup, and they
It's supposed to be a setup.
planned it to be. He walks in the background. He has no lines. There's no nothing. It's just him in the background. You walk by, and you're like,
but he
Just
gives
so
like
you
this
know,
weird
I'm
like
all
look.
about a Punisher Spider-Man movie that's Thomas Jane Punisher and Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. I would be down for that in a second.
Yeah.
I'm more interested in the Spider-Man movie that's coming out with Punisher. That's coming out next year.
It's the suit looks incredible. I'm so glad they shared the pictures of it. I almost cried, man, because like,
Did
look,
you
I like the film suits, I really do, but goddamn, I just want the classic, and they delivered, and it looks.
did you see how they're shooting the web slinging scenes where he's swinging?
Yes.
Oh
No.
my god, it's practical.
Well, I mean, I saw stuff, but there's not a lot of context. You're just looking at him swinging back and forth.
I know, but it's so cool. John, you would love to be in that suit doing this.
Oh yeah,
I
absolutely.
would love to do that.
Yeah, who
Because here's the thing. I hated the Spider-Man 3 video game for Wii, but when you had the two little nunchucks and you had a web like this, it made up for
that
that
game
shit
did suck. But if you played it on PS3 or Xbox 360, it was an amazing game. One of the
Oh, the
best
Wii
Spider-Man
sucked.
games made.
It sucked because of the Wii, but
Amazing.
I liked
yeah, the
doing
Wii,
that.
The Wii version was ass.
I liked doing that. I'm not going to lie to you. I liked that.
I got you.
Yeah. But anyways, that's all the time we got for today. Thank you guys
Oh
so
my
much
god,
for
we
tuning
can
in.
talk about so much shit.
I know. We'll have to. We'll save it for more stuff because like we have more Marvel TV shows coming out and all that stuff, so we can.
Yeah, the Wakanda cartoon just came out this week.
Did it?
Get
Yeah,
the fuck out.
I thought I saw it.
I'm gonna have to check that out. But anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in to At the Grown Up Table. We always appreciate you taking a seat with us. Thank you, Darth, for joining us. Thank you, everybody who tuned in. Tune in next week. We're going to be talking about some more stuff. Like I said, it's August. Who knows? We're going to talk about some summer movies, back to school movies. We got a lot of cool pop culture shit that's going to be happening this month. So stay tuned. Stay excited. We're happy to have you. Until next time, I'm Jesse.
And I'm John.
And you've been saying At the
I'm
Grown Up
Darth.
Table. Thank you. And have an awesome night.
Oh yeah, that's
something about
Darth.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's Darth right there. That's Darth. Yeah.